Do you ever feel like you keep repeating the same patterns in your life over and over and over again? Are you just generally unhappy with how things are going? Do you not like who you are? Over the time that I was gone, I read a book called Psycho Cybernetics, and this book has changed my life and how I look at the world completely. So this is a book written by Maxwell Maltz, and he was a plastic surgeon, and throughout his career he realized that changing just small things in people's appearance made them take on completely different personalities, which is really interesting. He said he could do things as small as just removing a mole from someone's face, and the confidence that that gave them turned them into a completely different person. The whole book centers around the concept of self-image, which I'm pretty sure I have read about or heard about in other texts that I've read, but for some reason this book really resonated with me. So the self-image is a combination of how you see yourself internally, your past experiences, and how you feel about yourself. See, you can change how you look on the outside, but until you really internalize how you feel about yourself, it doesn't change much. The brain is kind of like a biological computer, or I've heard it put kind of like the thermostat in your house. So if you set it to 70, it gets too hot, that AC is going to do everything it can to bring the temperature back down to 70. So I always kind of knew who I wanted to be, but it was always kind of vague. I had never really taken a hard look at how I viewed myself internally. So my self-image, surprise, surprise, wasn't the best. And due to that, it had kept me stagnated for a long time. I'd always kind of wondered why it seemed like the universe was out to get me, and I'm pretty sure this is why. Your internal thermostat is always going to pull you in the direction to which it's set. And if it's not a good image, you're not going to have a good time. Trust me, I have personal experience with this. But on the flip side, if you change that, and you can, no matter how old you are or where you're at in your life, you can use it to your advantage. Your brain and your mind are one of the most powerful things in the world. It's really made me learn to look at mistakes in a completely different light, not so much as things that set you back or that you can't overcome, but more as ways to correct the direction in which you're heading. One of the examples I really liked in the book was about a torpedo and how it operates. Torpedoes don't go in a straight line towards anything. Anytime it gets off course just a little bit, it corrects. That's like a mistake in your life. You make a small mistake and you recorrect. Anybody can do this, really. I don't speak on these things and claim to be any kind of master or guru. I just think stuff like this is really interesting. I've had an obsession for figuring out how the universe and people work since I was like single-digit age. So reading something like this and giving me a little bit of insight into how the mind works, like I said, it changed my life. I'd highly encourage anybody who's interested in stuff like this to pick the book up. If you don't want to pick the book up, I'm pretty sure you can find the audiobook on Amazon or YouTube or wherever you like to find audiobook stuff. I'd also encourage anybody who feels like their life isn't going the direction they want, or like all they do is make mistakes, is to really sit down and just sit with your thoughts. Really examine how you feel about yourself, how you see yourself, because a lot of problems can arise out of that. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing around you. Again, like I said, the internet's not real. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Don't worry about what's cool. Figure out who you are. There's that ancient Greek saying, know thyself, and this book really dives into that. I feel like this is one of those books that you'll probably get more out of every time you read it. I've read it once now, and I'm already planning to read it again because I know I missed some stuff. And there's lots of good examples in there. It's not as dated as you might think. I've read some other self-help and self-development books that are really old, and the examples kind of stick out as not relevant. But this one's been updated several times since it was written, and it's not completely modern, but it's new enough that if you read it, it won't feel like you're reading something from the 1800s. It does give a lot of good examples and exercises you can do to help start to change your self-image. It gives you lots of exercises so that you can hone in on what your self-image is. In addition to this, I would encourage everyone to meditate along with it. Meditation's changed my life, unironically. Just sitting with your thoughts and observing them rather than letting them take over your life and run your mind is so much better. You'll get so much out of it. In fact, I'm in the process right now of recording a meditation so that I can share it with you guys and hopefully help some of y'all. Like I said, a lot of the jobs I've had have been helping other people, and I don't think I realized it until the last year that I really do like helping people. I like making people feel good, not in that way. And reading this book really made me realize that, instead of complaining about how shitty everyone is, maybe try and help make a few people you encounter a little bit better just by talking to them, just by sharing stuff. My self-image was that of a very unhappy person, and that's not me anymore. I can honestly say I have changed my self-image almost completely because of this book. So if this is stuff that interests you, go ahead and hit subscribe or follow whatever side of the screen it's on. I'm not sure what you're watching this on. Sometime in the future, I'll probably be giving a book recommendation list, just stuff I've read over the last few years that I feel like have helped me. This is at the top of my list though, so I'm already going to spoil that for you. So if you've stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. I'm learning to speak at length about these kind of topics. This is stuff I'm really passionate about, but I've never really given talks about it. So thanks for hanging in there, and I hope to see you next time. Remember to go outside, touch some grass, and get offline. Later.